Hello and welcome back to my channel, Craft Time by Casey. I'm Casey, and today these are the 5 pairs of earrings that I will be making, and I am super happy with how they came out. The vast majority of the parts for these earrings came from the June 2022 bargain bead box. Ever since the opening video for that bead box, I've just been super excited to start creating. This color palette is right up my alley. It's just like, for me, when I look at it, it's like a summertime sunset, and it's just beautiful. So my goal today with these earrings was to have varying degrees of difficulty. And I think I succeeded with that. Like I said, I'm really happy with how these came out. And if you would like to see how these earrings came about, then stay tuned. All right, so let's get right into the tools that I will be using to make these earrings today. I'm going to be using 2 sets of chain nose pliers. I will also be using my set of cutters, and I will be using my set of round nose pliers. And I'm going to mention my tool set very quickly. I definitely recommend this tool set. It is very well made, very high quality, but the biggest thing for me is it has adult size hand grips, and for me, it just makes it absolutely worth it. It is called the Casual Comfort Tool Set. You can see it right there, right there. It is absolutely worth it in my opinion. I will have this tool set linked below, but even if you don't get this tool set, I also recommend that you just invest in your tools. If you make jewelry a lot, it is absolutely worth the investment, in my opinion. So for each pair of earrings that I'm gonna make today, I have one that's already made, and I will be making the other one for the video. So here is the first pair of earrings that I will be making. Of course, these chandelier components came in the bead box, and I knew pretty much as soon as I opened them that, to me, they just screamed earrings. They're very, very thin, very, very lightweight, but decently sturdy. So for me, it was all about the pair of earrings for these particular components. I'm also going to be using the 6mm rounds from the bead box and the ear wires that came in the bead box. From my own stash, I will be using these flower-shaped bead caps and 4mm pearls. I'm gonna start with a flathead pin, and I'm going to be making each one of these components and attaching it as I make them. So we're gonna start with the 4mm pearl, bead cap facing up, 6mm round, bead cap facing down, 4mm pearl. And then because these are flathead pins, it doesn't matter which direction the loop is facing on the top. So I'm going to just place the pin on my finger, hold the beads, and I'm going to put my round nose pliers just above that top bead. And of course, where you place it on the round nose pliers is going to say how big a loop that you have. So I don't want my loop to be too big. So I'm gonna have it towards the end of the round nose pliers. And then bend it just like that. Bend it back with my fingers. And then that's gonna have the beginning of a really nice loop. I'm gonna hold on to that end with my fingers right here. Go in there with my cutters, cut that tail off, and I'm going to go ahead and attach that to the chandelier. And the way I have it here is gonna be one on each end and one in the middle, right here. So I'll attach this one to the end, and then I'm gonna go back in with my round nose pliers and close that loop, just like that. So now we have the one attached on the end. We're gonna do the exact same thing for this middle one, and the end, the exact same component. We'll meet up at the end. All right, so here we go. I have all 3 components. And again, as you can see, it's attached to each side and then the one in the very center. So now we attach the ear wire, and I'm going to just open it a little bit and then place it on the top of that chandelier component and then close it back. So here is that first pair of earrings. On to the next one. All right, so here is the second pair that I'm going to be making, and I'm using one of the freshwater pearls that came in the box. I'm also using one of the 8mm rounds, and of course the ear wire. And then from my own stash, I'm using some 4mm bicones and the leaf shape bead caps. And I'm using these connector pieces from my own stash that are the round part of a toggle clasp. All right, so we're gonna start by making this component at the bottom. And for this one, we have a ball head pin, and we're gonna start with the bicone, bead cap facing up, 8mm round, bead cap facing down, and the other bicone. So that is the component. All right, and to make the loop on top of the component for this one, your loop needs to be a little bit bigger. As you can see, the loop needs to go around the component here. I'm gonna place it on my finger, hold on to the beads. I'm gonna go up the round nose pliers just a little bit more. Now you don't need it, all the way up here. That's kind of a little over exaggerated for this particular project. So I want to go up just a little bit from what I normally do, and then bend it back with my fingers. And as you can see, the loop is a little bit bigger. I go in with my cutters. I'm going to put the component inside that loop before I close it. All right, so just like that. Now, on each one of the pearls, I noticed that the loops were already there, but there was a larger loop and a smaller loop on each one. So I did not need to add a jump ring to this bottom one. For the larger loop, I just opened it a little bit and connected it to the top of this connector and then closed it right back. Just like that. And then the top loop, I'm going to open the ear wire just a little bit, connect it to the top of the pearl, and then close it right back. All right, so here is my second pair of earrings. On to the next one. All right, so here is the next pair. I'm gonna be using the same 8mm and 6mm round, and I'm also going to be using this fancy rondelle, and then one of my own spacer beads that has this really awesome kind of swirl decoration. This swirl bead cap from my own stash. So as you can see, there's 2 different components. We'll make that bottom component with the flat pin, the flat head pin. We're gonna have bead cap facing up, fancy rondelle, and bead cap facing down. Then we're going to go in with our round nose pliers just above, bend it back with our fingers, go in with the cutters, and then I'm going to rotate, go back in with my round nose pliers and rotate that in. And when I close a loop with a bead cap, I usually try to tuck it in to the top of the bead cap. Just like that. So now we'll make this top component, and it's going to be the eye pin, and we're gonna make it from the top down. So we're gonna go in with that 6mm round, spacer, bead cap facing up, 8mm round, bead cap facing down. And I always like to try to get the loops facing the same direction. So we have a loop right here, So I'm going to place it up and down on my finger right there. And that way it's facing the same direction. I'm gonna go in with my round nose pliers just above that top bead. Bend it back with my fingers, just like that. Go in with my cutters. And then I'm gonna go ahead and attach that fancy rondelle component. Go back in with my round nose pliers and tuck it into that bead cap. We're gonna close that loop just like that. And now we're gonna take that ear wire, open it just a smidge, put it right on the bottom of that ear wire and close it right back up. All right, so here's the third pair. On to the next one. So here's this pair, and we are going to be using these druzy beads that came in the bead box. Absolutely love these beads. And then we're going to be using these barrel-shaped beads that have the very high glossy band around the middle and then the matte finish on either end. And then these flower-shaped bead caps from my own stash. And then these 3mm spacers from my own stash. So for this one, it's quite simple. It's just one component. So I'm gonna have a ball head pin, and sometimes the pins come a little wonky, so you just kind of have to straighten them the best you can. All right, so we're gonna have a bead cap facing up, druzy bead, bead cap facing down, spacer, and then barrel-shaped bead on the top. So here is your component. And we're gonna go in with our round nose pliers just above that top bead, bend it back with our fingers, and then go in with the cutters, cut it. I'm gonna go ahead and put in that ear wire, go back in with my round nose pliers, and close that loop. All right, so here is this pair. On to the last one. So here's the last pair of earrings that I made. I kind of wanted to go all out with this one, make a chandelier type waterfall earring. So I'm going to set this one aside and kind of go step by step on how I put this one together. All right, so I did a lot of preparation ahead of time before. The chain that came in the bead box, I have it already cut up in all the lengths that I need. So as I'm going along, I will let you know exactly how many links I used for each part. So what we're going to do is make each kind of dangle, each row of dangle, and then we'll make the component up here that we're going to attach them all to, okay? So step one for this earring, we're gonna make each individual component across the center, each individual component across the bottom, and then we're going to put them all together. All right, so each component across the middle is going to be put together with an eye pin because it's got parts hanging off from both sides. So we take an eye pin and we're going to simply put on one of the 6mm rounds and create a loop at the top. So go just above the one bead, bend back with your fingers, go in with the cutters, just like that. While you still have that open, you're going to get a length of chain that is 9 links long. So 9 links. And of course, I already have 5 of them cut right here. I'm gonna put that last link on that loop right there. So I have 9 links, and then I'm gonna go in there and close that loop, just like that. So now I have a component that has 9 links of chain, and I need to do that 3 more times. All right, so we have the 4 middle components we have 4 of the middle components. Now we just need that centerpiece component. So also need an eye pin, and we're gonna do bead cap facing up, 8mm round, bead cap facing down. All right, we're gonna make the loop the same way, just above that bead cap, bend it back with our fingers, go in with the cutters, and then of course before we close that loop, we're gonna connect that length of chain that is 9 links, and then we're gonna close that loop by tucking it into the bead cap, just like that. So here is that centerpiece. So now we're gonna do the 4 across the bottom, and we're going to be connecting the links of chain to that one. Now, I'll show you the way I have it set up. The middle section here, all of these links of chain are the exact same, 9 links. And when you get to the bottom, it's more of a waterfall, and they are all different links. The outside 2 pieces are 5 links apiece, and the next 2 going in are 7 links, so that it's a little bit longer. And then the one in the middle is actually only 6 links, mainly because this bead is bigger, so it already hangs a little bit lower. So 6 links, and that gives that waterfall, you know, each one getting a progressively longer look to it. So we have 5 links on the outside, 7 links, the next one going in, and then in the middle, it's 6 because of the size of the beads. So all the ones on the end are gonna have ballpoint pins, and I'm using my 4mm rounds from my own stash. And then we're gonna make a loop, bend it back with my fingers, go in with my cutters. Here is my length of chain that is 5, so this will be one on the outside. And I'm going to add that length of chain that is 5 links, and then close the loop. Just like that. And then we're gonna do this one more time with 5 links of chain, and then we're gonna do it 2 times with 7 links of chain. All right, so I have 2 here that have 5 links of chain, and 2 here that have 7 links of chain. So now we're gonna make the center component at the very bottom. So also need a ballpoint pin, bead cap facing up, 6mm round, bead cap facing down, just like this. And then just above that bead cap, bend back with the fingers, go in with the cutters, and we're gonna go in with the 6 links of chain. Just like that, and then tuck it in to that bead cap. So now we have to connect the center pieces to the bottom pieces. Okay, so we don't get them confused, I'm going to kind of lay them out the way they will fall on the earring. So I have the center piece in the middle, and then all of these are the same length, like this. And then we have the centerpiece at the bottom. And then these are the ones that are 7. So they go next to that center component. And then the ones that are 5 go on the outside. All right, So now I'm just gonna start on this side and work my way over. I'm gonna pick this up, and this pin in the middle was the eye pin, and this is the loop that came in the eye pin. So we're gonna have to open it just a smidge and connect it to the other end of that bottom link, just like that. And then close it back. And then there is that first one. And we're going to do the same process to connect each one. Okay, so now we have all of the dangle components, and now we're going to make the top part up here. Okay, so this bar across is what we're going to start with. So I'm going to take this pin and I'm going to cut off the flat head at the end because we don't need it. We just need the bar. So now I'm going to take it right at the end, and I want the loops at the end to be pretty small. So I'm gonna take it right at the ends of my round nose pliers, and I'm gonna hold it pretty hard and then roll it back. All right, and then once it gets back to that front, I'm gonna kind of line up that loop. So we have the loop at the end, just like that. And now, before we close off the other end, we need to get all of the stuff on here. So we're gonna take, in order, each dangle, put it in that last link of chain, and then in between each one, we're gonna use a bicone. And then go to the next one, bicone, longest one, bicone, going shorter again, bicone, and then the shortest one again. So we should have 4 bicones across the top, and then the 5 dangles. And then of course at the bottom, they should be waterfall length. Here at the top, we need to close the other side here, just like this side. Okay. So that is definitely too much length at the end. So I am going to cut that off, the excess. So once you have that loop, for measurement purposes, the length of this bar across the top right now with one loop and this straight out is 1 inch and 1/4 of an inch. So 1 inch and 1/4, so 1.25 inches. So now I'm going to roll this other loop on the other side, and I want it to be facing the same direction. So I've got this one facing up, and I want it to be just as small. So I want to be right at the end of my round nose pliers, and I want to roll it up. So I'm going to hold this down, and I'm going to roll it up. Until it meets the other end, and then just like the first loop, I'm going to kind of finagle that loop so that it rests the same way. All right, so then we have 2 loops that match each other, just like that. And it's closed on the bar so that the end loop should not, or so the end dangle should not go up in that loop. Okay, the loop should go around and touch the original bar. So now we're going to connect the 2 other lengths of chain to the ear wire. So I have my 4mm jump rings, and each one of these lengths of chain is 10 links. Those are fun words to say, length and link. So I'm adding it to my jump ring, the last link. Just like this, I have 10 links in this part, and I'm going to connect it to the loop on the side. Just like that. I'm going to close this jump ring. I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side with the jump ring. So now we have the 5 dangles down here, and then we have 2 lengths of chain coming off the top with these jump rings that we're gonna connect together. One thing you do wanna be careful is that these chains up here are not twisted in any way. You want them to be the same length, so make sure they're not wrapped around. So I'm gonna kind of dangle them out and then add my jump ring to the last, I'm gonna get it back in frame, sorry. Add my jump ring to the last length of this one, just like that, and then add it to the last length of the other one. Just like that. And then certainly before I close this jump ring, I'm going to add the ear wire and close that jump ring. All right, so I'm going to set all of the earrings up in my display so that you can see them a bit better. All right, so here are the final earrings from the video, and I am super happy with how they came out. I tried to have varying degrees of difficulty, like I said from the beginning, and you know, I think I was able to succeed on that part. I really enjoy these earrings. Those druzy beads are probably my favorite ones. I think they're so pretty. And even in the simplest of earrings to make, just absolutely beautiful. And then of course, upping the complexity a little bit, I love those chandelier components. I think they're so pretty and so delicate, but still I love those swirls in the middle. I really like the way that those came out. The waterfall chandelier earrings, a little bit more complex to make, just still very pretty. I really enjoyed the challenge of making these. I think they came out quite nice. The freshwater pearls, the toggle clasp component in the center really adds to that design. I really enjoy these as well. I would love to hear what you guys think. If you like this video and you want to see other videos like this, then hit that subscribe button down below and give me a like. Leave a comment. Like I said, I would love to hear your opinion of these earrings. Let me know what you think. I absolutely love reading my comments. You guys are so kind, and it really is a highlight of my day to read my comments. I really do enjoy it. Thank you so much, and I definitely look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.